Greetings to all of viewers. Welcome to the first episode of a fresh new show, aptly dubbed Inside Christianity, where we give you our studio analysis of what they said on the week as we break down various content of Sunday service experience across many different church services. Of course, we're going to be giving you lots of reviews from local and international, regional pastors, prophets, preachers across all churches, so that we just get to give you a different feel. Of course, you know, we used to give you full Sunday services of Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa each and every Sunday before we stopped and forced to pull down some of the videos, not most of them. But we know you love your gospel sessions each and every Sunday, and these are a refresher from our usual political, business, and social bit. So why don't just give you back your best entertainment, music, and information, but more importantly, your best Sunday feeds each and every Sunday. We are just going to be dedicating this analysis for you, our viewers. So why not jump back and kick off the show with your favorite preacher of all time, Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa, as we start back, as we kick back this show so that we give you more insights. Emmanuel Makandiwa is indisputably one of Zimbabwe's most powerful influencer and prophet, who to date has uttered many prophecies which have come to pass. Of course, some very controversial, but that's a story for a different show altogether. So let's jump straight into today's show. United Family International Church founder Prophet Emmanuel Makandiwa has made rather stunning revelation that the World Health Organization is leading a new world order with COVID-19 as an excuse to take charge over human lives. This is a very frightening, or rather stunning, revelation that is just made recently during his televised show that he did last Sunday, where he spoke about the role that the World Health Organization is going to be playing, specifically hiding underneath the guise of COVID-19 vaccination, which is going to be introduced to the world, to the rest of the world, as a vaccine, but it's going to be having a certain digital inclination, which is going to be likely used to introduce the 666 to different human beings. And of course, it's going to be used as a weapon against humanity. This is a rather frightening, worrisome, worrying revelation that is made. We now need to just take a deep analysis and insight into this revelation. Of course, before we jump into the World Health Organization utterance that is also made, he was speaking on an array of many things. Most of them are very political, from political revelations, and specifically to look into the last election that was held in the United States of America. Top of the issues was an issue of the transitional period that's going to be happening between the current Trump administration to the Biden administration, and of course some foreseeable problems that are going to be coming through. Of course, this to me, the first part that you're going to be seeing in the next few seconds, is rather not a prophecy but an analysis of what is going to be likely happening. Let's take a look into this before we jump straight into the next issue about the World Health Organization being used or fronting this next COVID vaccine, which is likely going to be used against humanity. Let's take a look into this first brief quickly into this allegation as far as the U.S. election is concerned.
There is nothing in a country that represents the president more than the deputy.
Nothing.
He is the acting president when the president is absent, you see. So are they going to be able to open these three major doors? Then, if they are able, those doors are going to complicate the processes going forward of instating and placing the new president into office. Okay. But if the doors are properly shut and they can't open, whether they fight it in the courts, what has come out is final. We are now moving forward. Okay. So, where do you come in before we close?
Thank you, Father.
Where do you come in? How is this going to affect you? This is going to affect you in so many ways. Remember, sitting here and we were talking about the COVID-19 issue from the analysis that I gave you, the meaning of the corona, which is the coronavirus, the crowning of a king. Okay, the videos are there, right? It's there on YouTube. The dates are there. And I said it's more than just a disease. It is the crowning of a king. So it is during that corona virus where the crown would have to be worn. Let me tell you something.
Okay, so we'll just take a break there so that we get back to the context of that message. The first part there, he was talking about the Trump administration, certain challenges that is going to be facing, and of course, with the ongoing court challenges that the Trump administration has been making to try and reverse the election, which is already gone the Biden way. He's saying that there are certain 3 doors or 3 ways that the Trump administration must unlock. So I think this really makes it a very tricky situation, which means that should those 3 doors unlock or should they be opened, this can actually or has the potential to actually reverse the U.S. election. But it really didn't come out as a prophecy. If you get to watch exactly what you were saying there, you were saying that you were saying it more or less of as an option that at least if these 3 doors manage to open. But of course, to many people who have been closely following the developments in the United States of America, you have noticed that many of those legal suits that Trump has been making against the U.S. election, they've been falling away. And I think also much more from a different perspective, you have also seen that the Trump administration has been pulling down even way before some of these cases or some of these contestations. They've actually faced the court itself. So we have managed to witness a withdrawal of different cases way before they even sit before any jury to get to hear them. And recently today, you also heard that he lost the Georgia plea as well. So it really is going to be a very tough moment for the administration. I don't think that one was a prophecy, but it was probably a direction, if you ask me. That's my opinion. That's why we're here, so that we just throw our own different opinions and our analysis there. But now, that's not the major part of this show today. Of course, I had to pass through and rub along what has been said so that we also have an insight of what the world, the Christianity world is saying about this issue. I know many people want me to go into the essence of whether or not Trump won this election. There are many prophets we have been speaking about this, and many of these prophets have actually prophesied in a different direction altogether. I don't want to get into that. I know Prophet Makandiwa as well did the first hour of his sermon speaking about that. We want to dedicate this show specifically to something else completely different from what was said. I need to go to the major issue about today's show, which is the role that the World Health Organization is going to be playing as far as the COVID issue is concerned. We're going to be giving you as well a deep revelation. You're going to be seeing the World Health Organization logo so that we get to speak with you as far as the World Health Organization logo is concerned, things that were said about it and how the World Health Organization is going to be playing such a very fundamental role as far as pushing a vaccine is concerned. So what we're going to be doing right now is going back into the sermon, and we get to listen into what was said and the role is going to be playing, and when, more importantly, how they're going to be taking over and controlling humanity using the COVID-19 vaccine. I know many people are fully aware that the Trump administration has already been speaking about this vaccine. A vaccine is going to be a drug that is going to be pushed to the world over to protect the human beings from getting COVID. The same way we've been vaccinated against those killer diseases as we are all kids. Now there's a new vaccine that's going to be coming out to millions of people, and it's already ready. It's just passing through some final few tests. It's ready to be deployed to the world over. And there are some great fears that within this vaccine is going to be digitally used to sign humans, digital signing of different IoT, the Internet of Things, into a digital world. And this vaccine is likely going to be used as a piggyback to try and take over control of human beings. This is a rather scary prophecy, which I need you guys to just take a look into. take some time to listen to what has been said, and then we'll be back after this sermon has been said about these issues that are going to be coming through. Over to you.
Always support any ruling president as long as he is not against human lives. If a man comes in and he supports the welfare of people, I will support him. Even if this new president is for the people, for the good of the people, we'll pray for him and support him. We'll love him. But I want to give you a little picture, a glimpse into some of the scenes that are behind the scenes. It's not that President Trump really needed to be in the office, or he's enjoying something in the office. President Trump had become a stumbling block. President Trump had become the only barrier, the only restriction that the systems that are about to unfold are finding. There is a rolling out of a new age. There is a universal agenda that will have to affect every single individual on the face of the earth. And apart from developing the country, improving the country, building the country, most of the work that Mr. Trump was doing was to stop the unleashing of certain ideas over mankind. They set him down. He would agree with them, but when he goes public, he would always be advised, he would always take God's side and support the livelihoods of the people.
Okay, so I'm sure you've been listening to that part. What we're going to be doing is we'll just put it back one more time, and then we'll allow the video to continue. But this is a rather stunning and shocking revelation where you actually heard that Trump had more of the human side, and he was worried about the livelihoods of many human beings across the world. And that's why he's being referred here in this clip that he was going to be stopping, and he was speaking against the introduction of this vaccine each and every time, whenever they spoke about it, when they introduced it. So it seems, from this revelation, it seems that Trump was against the actual introduction of this vaccine, or he was rather cautious on the introduction of this vaccine. So let's just take it one more time again. Well, I also need you to be very attentive and listen at the way he then speaks about President Biden. He does not necessarily say that Biden is for the destruction of human beings, but he says that he hopes that Biden does not also buy the introduction of these vaccines that are going to be used against humanity. So let's just take this video one more time again so that we listen to exactly what's going to be said.
He would agree with them, but when he goes public, he would always be advised, he would always take God's side and support the livelihoods of the people. anything that he would sense would endanger mankind, he was resisting it until they realized that we are never going to have access to the rest of the world if such a president is to continue in power. He is the one who would go out there and announce that we have found a cure. And they would fight him for that. Because that should never be announced. Because he was against the vaccine. They have told him he knows if he is to come live now and tell people what he has been battling with, people will have a different picture instead of celebrating. I told you, how is it that soon after the announcement of the results, we are already hearing, which means it was already being tested, the vaccine, and now the only person who was stopping it, though he was coming out, President Trump, saying very soon, but he was really against it. He was against it. Now, the new president who is coming, the first thing that he's starting to address is setting up a COVID-19 task force and so on. It's all about COVID. Why? Because we have to get the vaccine to the people. And by getting the vaccine to the people, we have introduced a system into their bodies. Let's work with the human DNA. Because it's never, I've told you before, listen to, when I started talking about this, I was telling you. Remember, I was talking about politics and so on and so on. We were talking about the garden. And saying how, if you read the book of Revelation, how the beast is going to cause people to worship. The causing, I explained that. Yes, yes. What happens when the tree, the fruit of the tree, the medication gets into your blood? What it makes you see and feel. You become naked. And I was talking about so many things. The tree, I gave you the picture. The snake, okay, that deceived Eve into eating the tree, right? And globally, we have a case. Okay? And I told you about, and I said, who? And God came and said, who told you that you are naked? WHO. That's what I said. And it's God who's actually asking Adam, who? And I said that wasn't the question. He was telling Adam that it is who that told you that you are naked. You are now naked. It's who that has exposed you. The tree, and you find that tree on the logo, leaves. At the center, there is the world, and there is a snake. From the beginning. So they will control the whole world. The snake will take over the entire world through a cure, a vaccine, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So they want to get access into your body. That's the whole idea. If the Bible says that you will be caused to worship.
So this is the part that has caused us to give you this studio analysis where we're speaking about the role that the World Health Organization is going to be taking, or rather playing actively into making sure that a certain vaccine is going to be introduced into human beings, and this is going to be taking control. I'm sure you heard that. What I'm going to be doing is we'll pull it back one more time so that you guys, you get to fully listen to this part of the rather stunning or shocking revelation of how the World Health Organization is going to be used or is going to be working towards this introduction of this vaccine that's going to take over human control. Let's save this one more time again so that you guys get to a full listen to this video clip before we continue with the analysis.
It's all about COVID. Why? Because we have to get the vaccine to the people. And by getting the vaccine to the people, we have introduced a system into their bodies. Let's work with the human DNA. Because it's never, I've told you before. Listen to, when I started talking about this, I was telling you. Remember, I was talking about politics and so on and so on. We were talking about the garden. And saying how, if you read the book of Revelation, how the beast is going to cause people to worship. The causing, I explained that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What happens when the tree, the fruit of the tree, the medication gets into your blood? What it makes you see and feel. You become naked. And I was talking about so many things. The tree, I gave you the picture. The snake, okay, that deceived Eve into eating the tree, right? And globally, we have a case. Okay? And I told you about, and I said, who? And God came and said, who told you that you are naked? WHO. That's what I said. And it's God who's actually asking Adam, who? And I said that wasn't the question. He was telling Adam that it is who that told you that you are naked. You are now naked. It's who that has exposed you. The tree, and you find that tree on the logo, leaves. At the center, there is the world, and there is a snake. From the beginning. So they will control the whole world. The snake will take over the entire world through a cure, a vaccine, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So they want to get access into your body. That's the whole idea. If the Bible says that you will be caused to worship, the causing requires an analysis. When you're being caused, it will not be you saying, I don't want. It's a program in a human body that will make you do the things that they want you to do. So,
Overriding of
the will as the issue. So we have to get the vaccine to the people, and then the technology has to follow to monitor who has been vaccinated and who has not. Technology will play its role in verifying who has and who has not been vaccinated. So the pairing of people to the internet, where human beings finally become gadgets, that's where we are going. But that there was need for an individual to be crowned first. And I pray this new president is not for that. I pray. But I've already told you that let's prepare ourselves as men of God to heal nations after the introduction of the vaccine. And I said, you think there is a pandemic now? Wait. Didn't I say that?
you did say.
Okay. And isn't that information already available on the internet? It's available. And I said, you will see the actual thing is coming. And we will have to pray for nations. God to intervene to save lives. Okay. So this is the issue. Where are we going? We are moving towards one world order. It might not happen immediately. I'm not saying everything will unfold during his term, this new president. No. It's the beginning. It's the beginning. He might not be.
So we've just paused this video so that I take you back to a very important point that was said there. You see, the issue where you say that vaccines shall go first and then the technology shall follow later. I'm sure many of you guys, we've been speaking about the biological, microbiological chips, the implants that are going to be used by many different people. We've already seen the introduction of different microchips or implants that human beings are now using. So this is the technology that is going to be following this vaccination. Many human beings have already tried their own trial to try and use these chips that can identify who you are, where you are. They've got GPS, and they have a tendency to even communicate with a human being. And these can now then be used or abused to be put into human beings, and they tend to control even a behavior to a point that they'll control and they'll speak to you as far as what do you want, what do you like, how do you feel, things like you're feeling like those feelings that you may have towards certain food, addictions, and certain different types of things. So this is exactly the warning of how the technology can then be introduced into a human being, and this can guide you as to what do you want, what do you choose. In other words, a human being has now lost what we call the free will. That is the major important aspect that human beings have got over animals and everything else that has ever existed. Is the free will power that decides that I don't like to smoke, I like to go and watch soccer, I would like to eat, I would like to drink. But once a chip is then introduced into a human being, you lose the free will power. And that is the only thing that a human being has got more than any other animal. So if you don't have a free will power over anything, that means you are no longer choosing. Who is then choosing and who's then deciding? It's a chip. And if a chip has an RFID, the infrared devices, that means that they can be centralized, they can be controlled to say, okay, today human beings across the world over would probably want to drink Coca-Cola, for example. No offense to the brand. Or maybe this week that human beings are going to like to smoke. Or maybe the next few days, human beings are going to like to, who knows, test blood. In other words, I'm just speaking about the power to choose. The free will to choose is then going to be used by a certain implant, a chip, then determines what you like or what you don't like. So it's no longer you who's choosing. That's the part that I just wanted to reiterate so that most of you guys who are watching this can easily flow. I know you've all heard or you've heard about the microchips, the implants that are going to be used or that are already being tried across the world over. And these can then be used to follow technology and can be synced together because this is a very big, huge plan that can be used against humanity. Let's go back to the clip and then you get to understand and follow through again once more time.
Microchips implanted in human bodies could transform the way we tackle many everyday tasks. Some workers in Sweden are already developing and volunteering to have chips injected into their hands. The technology can make some tasks easier and reduce the amount of personal items employees need to carry. John Blackstone looks at the controversial trend and how it could put your privacy at risk.
In a Stockholm business complex, employees gain access not with key cards, but with a wave of a hand.
This is something that you can use just like a key badge.
At a recent tech conference, Hannes Sjöblad explained how a microchip implanted in his hand makes his life easier. It replaces all the keys and cards that used to clutter his pockets.
I use this many times a day. For example, to unlock my smartphone, to open the door to my office.
Sjöblad calls himself a biohacker.
We biohackers, we think that the human body is a good start, but there is certainly room for improvement.
The first step in that improvement is getting a microchip about the size of a grain of rice slipped under the skin. Suddenly, the touch of a hand is enough to tell the office printer, this is an authorized user.
It felt pretty scary, but at the same time it felt very modern.
The microchips are radio frequency identification tags, the same technology widely used in things like key cards. The chips have been implanted in animals for years to help identify lost pets. Now the technology is moving to humans. A tech startup called Dangerous Things has sold tens of thousands of implant kits for humans, some to tech companies in Europe. Showblad even organizes implant parties where people can bond over getting chipped together.
I love gadgets, and now I kind of feel like I'm a gadget myself.
Even a car door can be tweaked to open with a touch, but each touch leaves a digital footprint, and that can compromise privacy.
It also seems to be one thing if retailers can track me on my phone to see if they can get me to buy some socks or underwear. It's a different thing if my employer can see where I am, see what I'm doing when I'm off the job.
This is serious stuff. We're talking about a nonstop potential connection to my body. I can't turn it off. I can't put it away. It's in me. That's a big problem.
Even a dedicated biohacker has concerns.
It's very easy to hack a chip implant. So my advice is don't put your life secrets on a chip implant.
Somebody put an implant inside me. I found it this morning.
Back in 2004, the Manchurian Candidate suggested a future where humans are chipped and controlled. We have been warned.
It's about educating the people and giving every person the tools, not only how to use the technology, but more importantly, when it's being used against you.
But biohackers also predict the next generation of chips will save lives by monitoring health and fitness. For now, being chipped means never having to say you're sorry you forgot your key card. For CBS This Morning, John Blackstone, San Francisco.
I'm fascinated by this. I've always thought it was the future, that it would carry your medical records, that it could track your fitness, that
you could buy your groceries with it.
Right, like an Apple Pay or something.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. I'm scared of becoming a cyborg, but if you guys go first, I'll join you.
Over the entire world through a cure, a vaccine, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So they want to get access into your body. That's the whole idea. If the Bible says that you will be caused to worship, the causing requires an analysis. When you're being caused, it will not be you saying, I don't want. It's a program in a human body that will make you do the things that they want you to do. So, overriding the will, that's the issue. So we have to get the vaccine to the people, and then the technology has to follow to monitor who has been vaccinated and who has not. Technology will play its role in verifying who has and who has not been vaccinated. So the pairing of people to the internet, where human beings finally become gadgets, is where we are going. But that there was need for an individual to be crowned first. And I pray this new president is not for that. I pray. But I've already told you that let's prepare ourselves as men of God to heal nations after the introduction of the vaccine. And I said, you think there is a pandemic now? Wait. Didn't I say that? You did say it. Okay. And isn't that information already available on the internet? It's available. And I said, you will see the actual thing is coming. And we will have to pray for nations, God to intervene to save lives. Okay. So this is the issue. Where are we going? We are moving towards one world order. It might not happen immediately. I'm not saying everything will unfold during his term, this new president. No. It's the beginning. It's the beginning. He might not be able to finish it, but certain things have to start unfolding now. And probably such a man as himself was needed. Okay? So he will start bringing back everyone who was once fired by Mr. Trump, so that they can now push their agenda forward. So what basically we are having now is the privatization of the entire globe. Few individuals who have money have taken over the world. If people who are not doctors can determine what gets injected into your body, who are not doctors, technological people will prescribe for you, get a vaccine. We have never had that in the history of mankind. Where has professionalism gone to? Now have mechanical people writing prescriptions for patients. So it's a business. They are turning the entire world into a business venture. The agenda now is crush all the systems, crush all the businesses. Everyone has to be broke, so that the government becomes the sole provider. You have to beg, kneel down, you'll be caused to kneel down. Otherwise, you don't eat. So every single business that you think you can run and you survive away from the support of the government, that's what they're trying to destroy. Ultimately, the best thing that is going to be blamed for spreading the COVID-19, obviously, is cash. Let's do away with cash. So once it's a cashless society, you now have to carry your money technologically, digital currency. And you can't move into a digital currency atmosphere unless you are also digital. Okay? So you will have the technology now in your body. It's coming. Your money, you have to carry your money in your body. If you bring out cash, you have to be arrested. You are transmitting COVID. It will revolve around COVID-19. They want to capitalize on COVID-19. COVID-19. Keep on saying numbers are going up. Let's shut down again. Numbers are starting to go up. Yet HIV is killing more people. Okay? Ordinary flu is killing more people.
Yes.
Cancer is killing more people.
Yes.
There is no agenda on the table. A new president who comes in now doesn't go back to look at the disease that was already there. Cancer that has been killing people for all these years. No. They are getting to COVID-19.
And it's as if all the diseases have disappeared.
Yes.
It's like
everyone who dies
sick,
now. Yes, exactly. Even if you commit suicide, they find you hanging yourself on the rope. They will diagnose you of COVID-19. Okay? So it's because it is the crowning. That's the beginning. So the idea, make sure you don't have your own personal financial support. People must be brought back to relying on governments. So they'll be distributing food, looking after households. So you have to be dependent on them, so that's where you'll be caused to worship. Okay? So they want to keep on closing down. You know, if you look at the debate that they had, President Trump and Mr. Biden before the election, and President Trump was saying, we cannot keep on shutting down the nation. We'll have more people dying. People have to go to work. And he's asking his opponent, would you want to keep on shutting down companies? How are people going to survive? Because he knows the agenda. Yes. The extension of lockdown. Until there is no more gathering of people, until we get used to what is happening now. And when business, you can no longer go out there to transact. You have to sit in your house. The only gadget that you will have to be using is their product, their computer. You see, so this is where we are going now. That's why I'm saying This is where we are going in the future. So it's not just about supporting individuals here. It's an idea that you're supporting. It's an agenda that you're supporting. So I encourage people to keep on praying so that whatever the devil wants to do, he cannot do it before it is time for him to do it. If we don't pray, you can find the devil doing things before his time. Yes, you can find the devil, he can fast track certain things. He can do things that he's not supposed to start doing now. But if we pray, bad governments can turn out to become good. If we are to pray, so that we don't have problems. We don't want killing of people. We want people who care for lives.
Yes.
You can't just come in as a president and you say, if you're pregnant, you don't want the baby, terminate. What is that? What is that? It's unbiblical, it's unethical, it's unreasonable. You can't do that. You can't do that. Where are we going as nations? Where are we going as nations? Pastor, we are giving a permission to change yourself today.
In the name of liberalism.
You are born a boy and you are being advised, being trained to consider, would you want, do you have a choice to make a decision whether you want to remain a boy or you want to become a girl? This is, imagine such kind of a mentality is in the head of a leader. A leader. A leader. So if you look at your children that you have, so as of now, you can't really tell how many boys you have, how many girls you have. You're not even allowed because they are yet to make a decision. What kind of a joke is that?
Refuse that far.
No, the problem with mental attacks, when a person has gone insane and he's putting on a tie and a nice suit, you don't quickly attend to him to help him.
True.
But when a man removes his clothes and is running naked, you quickly help him. You can see something is going on. But not when a man gets into the shower and brushes his teeth. He goes out there wearing a nice shirt. And then he speaks like a madman. It will take you years to realize that we have lost it as mankind. How can grown-ups, elderly people, that these are fathers that you would expect, they should be hearing that from young little boys and girls that are coming up and saying, what is wrong with you? Not having it from the top. They never heard that during their time. Where are they getting it from? It's an agenda. So when people are voting, that's what they are voting for. And when they start distributing, like I told you, especially African countries, just have to keep on praying. I don't know how some of the people are going to survive. You have to really do your research very well and study the politics in Africa. Choose presidents that are bold. You might need to migrate and go and live in other countries. You have to look at how other countries responded to the COVID-19. Was it in Tanzania or
yes,
President Magufuli? Look at what he did. You said that we have to make our own assessments. Let's see what is happening. You rarely can find a leader that bold. If it was an average leader, he would say, what if something goes wrong? And he knew it was all because of aid. If you don't do that, we can't assist you financially. So do that. Shut down the country. He's saying, we are not supposed to be borrowing from you. Right? Which means that kind of a leader, even if a vaccine is to come, that place can become the only city of refuge where leaders are ready to protect their people. Just giving you an example of who a leader is and what a leader is supposed to do in protecting his own people. But presidents like that, they don't live long. There will be chaos in their countries, and those countries outside will be sponsoring those wars. Okay? Because they want to control everyone. Everyone has to be caused. Okay? So we can go on and on and on and on. I have a lot. I think we'll have to continue and touch on other areas. But at least there you have it. That's the prophecy.
Thank you, Father.
And where we are going.
Father, we thank you so much. We know that you are building through the way that you have intensified the message on Zafnath Pania, National Solutions, how you're building individuals that can create these safety features and that can stand in the gap.
Yes.
And Father, we're so amazed at how you've been so intentional about your message in this current time. And Father, I don't know if this question would be suitable to ask now, for you to answer now. Maybe we'll tackle it later as we go along.
Okay.
But we would be very interested to know, Father, if there are any concessions that are being made by God in terms of the release of his power and the kind of individuals that he's designing to be able to fight against these developing systems now. Father, I'm saying this from a point of just curiosity to know if there's going to be required a different, should I call it dimension, or a different measure of the grace of God in many areas, even wisdom. You told us several months ago to pray in line with healing of individuals. But even in the demonstration of the power of God through the children of God, is there concession in the Lord's mind, in the direction of him saying, I need to make available more strength for my people now that we're going into such a time?
Sure. But of course, the time that question would require for me to answer. Yeah. So let's take note of that.
Thank you.
Remind me of that very, very important question.
Thank you.
Because then that prepares us for what is coming, what the Lord expects of us to do in these trying moments. Indeed, God has a plan for his people because he's the King of Kings. They can plan, they can surely gather together, but not by me. It is the Lord himself who is going to scatter them. So we have to look at the ultimate God plan, okay, which supersedes every other plan, which goes beyond the strategy of the serpent. We have to sit down and discuss how finally the heel is going to crush the head of the serpent. And remember, we are dealing with an already won case. We have the champion, Jesus. We are on the winning team. So there's no need for people to fear, because Jesus said something, remember, in the world you will have tribulations, but in me you will have peace. In the world, tribulations, in me you will have peace. He's talking to you about two different places. The world is a location, Jesus is a location. And he's saying, as long as the world is where you are, expect violence, tribulations, persecution. But if you choose me, if you are in me, I'm the only place where peace can be experienced. So people have to then make a decision. Ultimately, it's only in Jesus. Outside of him, there is tribulation. Nations are going to mourn like they've never mourned before. We are heading towards a moment that was prophesied by one of the major prophets in the Bible, where he said, I looked and I saw that the earth was staggering like a drunkard. This earth will shake like you've never seen before. Because in the world, it is predicted already that there will be tribulation, but in me, we have peace. So Jesus is going to become the only location people will have to find where Jesus is. Get him as soon as they can. Get into him for them to have the peace. Outside of him, all these leaders that we are looking up to, they will push us. They will cause us to flee until we find Jesus. They are just coming to prove that Jesus is the best leader. They will make silly mistakes. They will make decisions that you can never think of, just so that you will know Jesus is better. So we'll do them next time. Thank you so much. Our viewers, you are blessed. You are covered. You are protected.
And of course, you've been watching the last dramatic part, rather very scary and frightening. I love the way the sermon ended. Of course, there you heard Pastor Koramba asking that, so who is Seth and how are we going to be turning out as the world? I know this is a very pertinent question where many Zimbabweans and the world over should be worried, they should be scared to say, if such powerful organizations are coming together, teaming up to do such a thing against humanity, where are we safe as different human beings across the planet? So I find it to be very comforting and of course very deliberate in the way the message ended, that there was reaffirmation of hope, reaffirmation of Christ would, and a message of strengthening various viewers that also came there, where Prophet Makandiwa also spoke about the role that Christ plays in this position. Is he is God, he is the Father, he is the all-powerful, that humanity, human beings shall never be forsaken, and God shall come and shall rise. But of course, yes, there's been an issue where many of you were very much worried, and as the video was just closing there, the whole idea is never to instill fear into the viewers, but more importantly, make them understand and grasp exactly how the world is going to be turning around. That is the fundamental part, and that is the most important part, so that people are much more informed and they fully understand exactly what is happening. But above all, when all is said and done, we should also be reminded and remember that it is still God who is in control, and God shall remember his people, and God is still in charge, and he shall never ever allow the devil to take over us. And that is the last part of reaffirmation and the message of hope and the message of strengthening various Christians. There is the message, and of course the sermon also ends with a very powerful prayer, just so that our viewers and all people, they do not lose hope, neither should they think that God has given up on humanity and on human beings across the earth. There, it's very, very important, quite fundamental. We'll see you soon. We'll see you once more again, each and every weekend, hopefully each and every Sunday, to give you a quick early analysis. But for now, we'll get you back again to the most powerful prayer point that will comfort you and that will give you back hope, and it will serve, more importantly, as a reminder that the Lord God is still in charge and is still in control. We'll see you soon. We'll see you once more again next week. For me and the crew behind the scenes, this is a quick analysis that we're doing for you, our various viewers. They will continuously keep on doing this, but let me not dilute the message by continuously engaging and speaking with you. Let's go back to the most important part of this message, which gives back hope, faith, and strengthens you as various Christians across the whole world.
For them to have the peace. Outside of him, all these leaders that we are looking up to, they will push us. They will cause us to flee until we find Jesus. They are just coming to prove that Jesus is the best leader. They will make silly mistakes. They will make decisions that you can never think of, just so that you will know Jesus is better. So I will read them next time. Thank you so much. Our viewers, you are blessed. You are covered. You are protected. God says, I know the plans that I have for you, not to hurt you, not to harm you, but to give you an expected end. So God will cause his face to shine upon you. The Lord will give you peace. He will lift up his countenance before you. Wherever you go, there shall not be any darkness. The light of God will shine, and your steps shall be ordered by the Lord from this very moment. Don't be afraid, because our King and our President is on the throne. God bless you. God keep you. Next time. Thank you so much.